3.2 ku 100 gwe muwendo gw'Abannayuganda bagambye okuba nti basangibwamu obulwadde obw'obwongo mu mwaka 2022 ate nga kigambibwa nti emiwendo egyo gizze gyeyongera.
Katika nchi za Afrika, Uganda ipo katika nchi 6 zenye ziligunduliwa kuwa na watu wengi wenye waliridhika kuwa na ugonjwa wa akili. Tufanye nini kusaidia ndugu zetu wa mama katika nchi ya Uganda?
Did you know that over 14 million Ugandans are suffering from mental illnesses?
Welcome to the Mental Health Hub, where we shall be sharing information regarding our mental health. We shall be discussing mental health in depth, handling issues like mental health disorders such as depression, panic attacks, post-traumatic stress disorders, anxiety, among others. You can always check us out on our TikTok channel at Mental Health Hub 3 and our YouTube channel at Mental Health Hub 3. Thank you. Just like we told you, we are here to discuss issues concerning our mental health. Mental health is one aspect that has been ignored by very many people. Like, very many responsible parties have not come up to show us or to put efforts and emphasize about the importance of mental health. Just like in our introduction, we told you that over 14 million Ugandans are suffering with mental health illnesses, and this is a report by the New Vision. So I don't know if this report really covers up the fact that there are even those young people that are suffering with mental health illnesses, or the report only took consideration of only the mature people. And the saddening fact is, when someone is suffering with mental health, a lot of people cannot notice. Or if I have a physical illness or HIV, these are things that can be tested. But the initiative has not yet been taken to see to it that we have a very comprehensive system that is there to combat mental health disorders. So that is why we are here to discuss mental health in depth and to show us how we can maintain a good mental health, and maybe to educate us about those mental health disorders that we're not sure of, because people are really sick and they don't know. My name is Pade Bonifas, and I'm the moderator for today's discussion with my colleagues here.
Naula Lona.
And
Moiti Joseph.
Well, these are the psychologists we have in the house. On the different occasions, we'll be bringing different people to discuss mental health.
According to me, mental health refers to a person's emotional and psychological well-being. It can be in terms of one's life, health, different aspects that contribute to that person's well-being.
Yes, thank you.
Mental health, this is the way how people make in their decision making. This is where you find like someone when he's mentally ill, you find the way he decides it's improper. This is where you find someone thinks that maybe committing suicide is the best option when maybe he has misunderstanding with the family members, the husband and the friends. So we are coming up, we want to come up with how can we help our brothers who are going through different conditions. This is where you find like a university student at Makerere went through a suicide event, which we didn't know what was the main cause about that suicide.
Yes, and to add on that issue, the reports by the Campus B. Campus B is a platform that shares the news that is happening in the different campuses, the different universities in Uganda. It was said that that lady was called Navagala Irene, and she was undergoing depression. This lady committed suicide 2 weeks to her graduation. Can you imagine? So that must have been really a pressing issue, because after going through all those years, primary, secondary,
then by the time you reach university,
suicide. It's really bad. That is really bad. So I think that is why, because when you look at 2024, especially in January, the beginning of this year, there has been a lot of cases of suicide, self-harm that is resulting from issues like depression. What I can say is that all people will say, okay, the generalized term is depression. Even people who are undergoing different mental health disorders, they will say what? Depression or stress. Those are things that we are all used to. But yet in actual sense, there are also other what? Other issues.
Like this is where even if you find when we go back to our primary level and high school, this is where you find our sisters are going through different self-harm that people are not. There is no government coming up to help them.
Yeah.
That's why you want to see how are we going to help them. Maybe if we can provide. Normally they put counselors in high school and they don't put what in primary. So you find a girl child or a boy child is going through a lot, but no one is guiding him or her.
And even those counselors that they put in high school, these are people who are always at school.
Yes.
So it is really hard to trust such people because there is a time you undergo a situation,
and they bring up those things
you know,
them.
And they be like, Lona,
that is why you did ABCD.
You know, so it is really, I believe that to make it effective in school settings, we need maybe to have counselors that come from
outside, so
True.
that
you know,
you can develop that trust. With
yeah,
students.
remember this is someone you're not going to meet
Don't
again.
know, yes.
Yeah, so
someone who doesn't know your surroundings, someone who is just seeing you for the first time.
yes,
So you become more comfortable talking to that person.
yeah, to share with them.
Yeah.
And they should bring like someone who is associative to mainly they bring up what women. And that's why ever associative to that.
Yeah, people,
to the kids, to the
they're free with
then bring someone who is from army. He has gone through a lot. And so it will be
Of course
hard.
there is. Of course, I don't think there is any school that would employ
Yeah, there are those who can.
an army officer to come and do counseling, unless they are counselors in the army.
In the army.
Yeah.
Obviously, they are for the army, not.
So basically, I think mental health, we are looking at someone, the way how someone handles their emotions, how they think, how they react, how they act, and maybe how they decide. Yeah, so basically, I think that is mental health. So what are the importance of good mental health? Because we can be talking about mental health, someone doesn't know. If I'm mentally sound, let me say, if I'm of good mental health, how is it important to me, like as me?
It helps you build good relationships with people around you, your friends, because when you're mentally sound and okay, obviously you're going to create good relationships with others, which will sustain your life and you'll be in a good position to do positive things.
Meaning that if you have good relationship with others, meaning that
obviously if you have a good relationship with others, even mentally you're going to be okay.
Even
meaning when you have an issue,
even
you can easily share
with your friends, find a solution to it. That keeps your mental health in a good state. Yeah.
Even the way someone said, someone who is mental okay, there's a way he programs his stuff. Maybe like in the morning I'll do this and that. Then if the following day I'll do this. Then the other one who is mentally ill. For him, from now he may start what? Laughing. From where he starts eating this. So there's a way when you're okay, there's a way you move and life moves what? On.
Very
and
well.
someone who is mentally ill cannot really make good decisions. You end up always thinking about, okay, you don't make those decisions that are going to do good things to you. You just act aimlessly without thinking.
Well, what makes this matter a bit more serious is, okay, there is this saying that, okay, it is very rare for me to come and ask you, Lona, how are you? Then you say, I'm not fine. It is very rare. Everyone will say, I'm okay. I was reading an article recently. It was titled, How I'm Not Okay Has Finished People in Kampala. It was really deep.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like, if I ask you, Moiti, how are you? And then you say, I'm not okay. The first thing that is going to come to my mind, now this one, I think he wants money.
Yeah, true. True. Because it's what they think.
Yeah.
That someone is not okay.
You want to ask for something.
Yes.
So it's hard. You know, when I say I'm okay, even though there is a lot that's happening in my back, there's a way to it's okay to leave it, to make you move on. Say, I've left Moiti, is okay. But just again, a few minutes from now, you'll hear Moiti has committed suicide.
Yes.
Then ask him, Moiti told me was okay. Then what's the problem?
Do you know why? The society we live in, it has been more. It is more judgmental than receptive. For example, if I come to Lona and I tell you, you know what, Lona, I'm addicted to drugs, I'm a drug addict, or I'm a sexual pervert, or something related to that. You know, before even I finish my story, you'll be like, first of all, you will say this boy was not raised right.
Yeah.
Even before knowing,
From a bad background.
was it because of the family, or because this boy,
Friends,
you know?
influence.
Yeah. So the society has really caused that. Like, people will always say,
But
I'm
not
okay.
comfortable saying
Yeah.
out their issues.
You know, I always have issues with people people who say bestie. You know, even besties you can't share with them.
You can't share with
By
them,
the way,
but
it's hard to
because-
find someone that you can share the problems. Maybe even
You
though
know
you are
why?
too close to that person, there are those things that you keep by yourself.
Yes.
And yet, if you can reveal them out, there is someone can help you. It's like you have phoned me. Maybe when I'm hungry and you ask me, what's the problem? I say, man, today mberanga iganye. At least I haven't eaten something. You'll pull out at least even don't give me 1K. It will
You
help
go and
me.
get commando.
Yeah, command to push me for a while.
Well,
And the other issue is people have a hard time trusting their besties because you have seen besties who are betraying their besties.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they reveal
So
at
you'd
the
be
end.
like, if I tell her this, she might, with the moment you get a disagreement, she might go and tell it to someone. And
one time I was on the media, you know,
becomes
these meme stuff. Memes. Someone was like, "Are you sure your bestie is your best? Are you your bestie's bestie?" Because because you might be my bestie when I'm not your wife.
exactly.
So
No,
I tell you something, you go and
The moment you get a disagreement like this, she
Not
starts
even
saying-
before-
even
No.
getting, they have already.
You see when this trending girl, Pretty Nicole, the thing that she did, I think what she shared to someone, once something moves from another person, that's not what? Privacy, it will move on. Because if I send to you, you'll send to your friend also.
And there is
Then
a possibility of her not having shared it to someone, but someone maybe used her phone. You know these things of having close friends. Some
Yes.
Again, I
phone,
believe-
I do this.
Because
I do
they
that.
share, you share
But
emails.
me, I believe that she could also be having.
A lot. So
Yeah.
now those are the people that we need to talk. Now she may be feeling it's
She may be
it's
going
hard.
through a lot.
But
Yeah.
you may see next week, but Pretty Nicole is what? He has committed suicide. Those are the people we need to pull. And yet the government has neglected those.
Such small
Because
cases.
now
Such
the whole
small- yes.
society is talking about
Yeah,
her.
she's
no
now-
one is
she's
coming
feels-
up to say, let me help her.
She feels now
Well,
small.
Harriet Krutham had come up to help,
Yeah,
but you know, it is always hard.
I mean psychological.
So helping it's very normal.
But
As
someone
we
someone to counsel
Someone
her.
to trust.
Yeah.
Someone she
People
can
have
trust.
trust issues.
Exactly.
Well, I think that is enough about the mental health and the experience in society. People are really sick. You find someone walking and they are in a meeting talking alone. They are self-employed.
Yeah.
So it is really saddening that people are sick and they don't know. You know, you can find me, like we've seen people who have had a very normal routine. They go to work, they say I'm okay, they do their work normally, and before you know they have committed suicide, and you'll be like, someone was here yesterday, they were very okay.
Yeah, we were talking.
We are talking. What happened? Yet someone was really going through a lot. So, what are those causes of poor mental health? What makes people to have poor mental health? What brings about the deterioration of mental health? Because I believe everyone, apart from a few cases, all of us are born with sound mental health. Apart from the cases where there is brain chemistry and maybe genetics, what are those other causes?
There can also be traumatic experiences, like maybe someone might have experienced something in the past or maybe when they were young, and that particular bad thing can easily affect them through their growing up stage. By the time you reach adulthood, you cannot forget that traumatic
That memory.
event. Yeah, that
It always
memory.
keeps
Yeah,
happening.
it keeps on haunting you in your sleep, like each and every day. So that alone can really disturb your mental health.
Yeah, mainly now on
Because
such.
it's an event you will never really put out of your mind, especially if you saw it with your own eyes or if you experienced it.
Yeah.
You see, not even the girls who are used by their dad.
Their own
You
father.
find every day the girl, but she can't what?
She
She
can't-
have to ask because she has,
this
this
is
is my
her
dad.
father.
How am I going to shame my dad? And yet it's affecting her emotionally and
just-
psychologically. By the time you find someone has gone, giving out to bastards, which is not real.
Now just imagine what the society will think if you came out and said my father
father
rapes
is-
me every night or something like that.
Some
Obviously,
may not
some
even
may-
believe
yeah,
it,
they
will
and yet
not.
it happens really.
It happens so much. You know, there are very many weird things happening in homes that parents don't pay attention to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and parents
And
have
most
this
parents usually don't pay attention
to their children, especially adults. You know, there is a tendency that is in their mind. They keep thinking that, you know, kids are okay. What? Like as a kid, why would you, as a growing up child, why would you be stressed? Why would you be having issues?
Yeah. And yet, mainly, remember, there is this situation we say perhaps in the family, maybe the mom has lost the husband. This is where you find that woman will be taken to the counselor, they will give her guidance, forgetting the what? The kids.
Children, yes.
And yet they also go through a lot.
Yes.
Yet they need us to be pulled and be guided to avoid what? To avoid such scenarios where you find he has gone through that. When he goes back, maybe perhaps they have picked him or her from school. They tell her, your dad has passed on. So yeah, we're going for burial. There's a way to affect.
They have not prepared the kid for the news and all that.
Just from where they've given her the news.
Now it becomes worse for our male counterparts. For example, they were going to have a saying that enume kula vigo. I always have problems with that saying, enume kula vigo, meaning that even if you fall as a boy, you're not supposed to cry.
And yet inside you are
You feel like crying. Me, I keep telling my friends, when I feel like I want to cry, I go to my bed, get my pillow, I cry.
cry.
Then come out when I feel like. Because every time you feel like crying and you pretend I'm okay, you know, that is when you're going to, one time you'll just burst.
True.
So I think we should dig deep about the causes of poor mental health. What do you think are the causes? Why are people really getting off track mentally?
We have environmental factors. This is where you find the environment. There's a way it judges what the children. Maybe perhaps, okay, we are in the dom.com world. We fall according to the trend, the dressing code, the way we talk. We say perhaps we have left Kampala. As we see our girl child, the way they dress up, someone is in his car, he feels comfortable. But when he goes in the village, they'll start criticizing, oh, birabe, byambala bubi, byakopa embera y'abazungu. Maybe yet it's the training stuff. Get it? So that stuff, it will to affect the girl child, not to say maybe I will not go back in the village. Since people they talk bad about us. Again, we have the family background. Also there are those stuff when maybe we believe in our local culture, they say echa happening edda kigenda kola kigobera, maybe tata yetuga, it will also what? It will always follow.
Mostly,
So
when you look at let me hit on this. When you look at people maybe who have things like depression, if one of your parents had depression, it is most likely that you will have depression. But it's not a must, it is most likely.
Yeah.
There are people who can overcome it, there are people who can dwell with it in their family. But normally when your family, one of your parents had depression, it is most likely that you will have depression because it carries on. Sometimes it is genetic. Yeah. So even family background, we can also relate it to this way that families have had issues, families have problems. There is someone who said that families are like mountains, they look beautiful when you're seeing them from afar. But when you sit down and discuss families, people have a lot of problems. And you know, just like you said, they are prioritizing parents, people who are heads of the family. They're looking at maybe if there is a problem in marriage, parents are fighting over something, it is only them that they will prioritize. They will not look at the children. They do not know that children are being affected in this. Normally, there are things that happen and maybe we think maybe these kids are young. Someone is 5 years. They be seeing what is happening in their family. That is why you see that, I'm sorry to say, but when you look at people who have been raised by single parents, okay, they can be very good in their character, but there is always that element. There is always one element when you look clearly that you will always miss out. Yeah, that people don't pay attention to.
even you find out also the medical condition that people go through. That's why I find I'm not saying that our doctors are not what qualified, but where it is very fine. Someone has been given whether underdose or they have interchanged that the medicine. Where I find there is where I saw in TV. There's a guy. He's blind, but can move, like if we say from here up to URA 8 hours. But he doesn't know how he reaches. They move. For him, he claims that they gave him overdose, and there is why. Then he changed the
dose.
The dose again. It affected what? It affected the eyes. So such scenarios, you find someone now it will be affecting him. That these are the doctors who made me what reach to this level. So he said, now I'm not overused to be in the world.
Society,
yes, without my eyes, and yet I was born normally. So you find them, you say, it's better just die and what?
That is why me, when I go to hospital, I pay attention to what they are giving me. So much attention. By the way, me, I rarely go to hospital. But when I go there, I always consult with the people I know. When I ask them what you're prescribing, and because in some hospitals, like you go there, maybe you have malaria and someone will prescribe something like.
For you are lucky, who can do that? But there are those who you go when you feel you are dying. There is no time you say.
There are those who even go when they know what they want. They are not sure. If they really need coetam or anything else, so they go knowing, me I want coetam. So it is always good we pay attention to what the medicine we are taking in, I think, because it also affects our mental health. Mental health, the unseen power of success.